and welcome to Growth Strategies. We are going to talk about everything that you need to do in order to grow your business or your brand. And there's going to be some overlap with the goal setting that you would have already seen. If you haven't watched that video already, go back and watch that because Julie will tell you all about setting goals and how to attain those goals. So like I said, there'll be a little overlap, but for this, it's more about growing your business. So let's say you have a current revenue, a current size, district, like a service area, whatever it is, and you want to grow that. You're going to first have to create that goal, and then you're going to need to create a benchmark. And the benchmark is important in the growth strategies because you need to know where you are before you can go anywhere. Because if you want to expand your service area by double it. You need to know what your current service area is now in order to understand what doubling it really means. So you want to just make sure that you have an easy and repeatable way to measure those metrics. And so it's not just going to be one metric that you're going to measure, because with growth strategies, like your goal to grow your business is going to include a lot of different things. It could be a revenue number. It would include potentially hiring people. It could be, moving to a new building, whatever it is. So make sure that you've got all of those things considered and you can measure all of those, because if one isn't adding up the way that it should, that could really hurt you down the line. And then you want to thoroughly define what your future state is. And it should be realistic, but you can get ambitious. So you have the option, you want a realistic goal, but you can have that stretch goal that would be great to hit, but doesn't necessarily have to happen in order for you to, consider this a success. And these goals, they don't have to happen overnight. They can be, even though I just said that they can, you have to thoroughly define them. First they can just kind of be vague, like a vague idea. And then as you start working through it, you want to start defining it and getting more focused as to what that goal is. So, you want to grow your business, great. That could be your goal, but, you want to make sure that you at some point define what that growth means. When you're creating your growth strategy, you want to review all parts of your business. Your first instinct is probably going to be increasing your revenue, which, that makes sense. If you're, trying to grow your business, you need to increase sales, you need more money, etc. But you may be hindered if you haven't addressed all the other areas first in your business. And again, that's, I want to bring on 10 new clients. Awesome. If I don't have enough hours in the day to deal with 10 clients, then that's not a realistic goal. And, that means that I should have looked at hiring somebody before I brought on those 10 new clients. And you also want to look at areas where you can cut costs or improve upon your efficiencies. So, like if you have a goal of a certain dollar amount in your bank account, an easy way is to increase revenue, but it could be easier just to cut costs, make things more efficient, understand your processes. It's going to allow for more working capital that will then help you grow. So if you're saving money now, that's just more money you can use in the future to expand your business. And you want to create that growth plan for each area, and you don't want to forget to invest in your business. So there's the cliche, the saying, it costs money to make money, and that's completely true. Like, you need to spend money in order to make money. You can grow slowly, organically, but if you get cash quickly, like a cash injection quickly, you can grow more quickly, and that means possibly taking on debt. So a lot of people who we've spoken with, they're debt adverse. But we always recommend to spend somebody else's money before you spend yours. So you don't want to get buried in debt, but if you can get something that's manageable right now, that's going to help you grow, we recommend that you do it. But obviously you should talk to a financial expert to make sure that what you're doing actually makes sense. But ultimately, it's up to you to decide what's reasonable, and it's just what your comfort level with risk is. Now back to the goals, which Julia talked about. Like I said, you want to set them, create a plan, and then share that plan. So transparency is critical. It helps people in your organization or your family, friends, whatever it is, what the expectations of them are going to be, what the expectations of you are going to be. And you can utilize bonuses with your employees to hit certain goals, those milestones to hit the bigger goal, whatever it is. And this also helps hold you accountable. So even if this is it's a personal goal or whatever it is, like a personal growth strategy, like sharing it with people will help hold you accountable, because people are going to be out there expecting you to do what you said that you do. You want to create backup plans and be ready to pivot. So a lot of times people have this plan and they're so laser focused on it that they don't see what's going on around them, and they've missed other opportunities. So, let's say you want to expand into a new territory, like you're currently in the Southeast and you want to expand into the Northeast. That's great. And you're focusing on the Northeast and you're, focusing on all that. It's possible that, like you could have an opportunity to expand internationally or to, another part of the country that you never thought that you would be involved with. And you just miss it because you're so laser focused on that one goal. So, make sure that you have backup plans and make sure that you're flexible and you're ready to pivot. And then once you kind of get going, you want to prioritize what your biggest bang for, like the implementation is, and then anything that's sequential. Those are kind of the two things that you want to do. So prioritizing, it's first of all, you want to talk about or think about how easy it is to implement whatever these changes are to get you to where you want to go. So if it's quick and cheap, you might as well go ahead and knock that out early on. Cost will always be a prohibiting factor, but you want to perform at least a basic return on investment on that to help you understand what how important it really is. And again, like if it's something that you have to do to get from step A to step C, then sometimes you just have to do that even if the ROI isn't there. But generally speaking, you want to make sure that you're not losing money on any of the changes that you're making, unless obviously it's something that you have to do. You want to measure what the impact to your business is going to be. So this is kind of going to be similar to cost and ease of implementation, but it's bigger than just like a revenue gain. You want to start thinking about intangibles like employee morale or customer retention, employee turnover, things like that. Things that you can measure, but it's just a little bit harder. It's not as obvious. And again, like I said, if it's a large investment, you don't have the cash, look into loans or leveraging other methods to gain capital, whether that's a traditional loan, a personal loan, selling off part of something in order to focus on whatever you really want to focus on. And then, like I said, you want to make sure that it's sequential. So obviously, if you can't do one thing until something else is completed, you're going to have to prioritize based upon that. And then, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, you want to be able to track your growth. So it's not knowing where you were. So having that benchmark is, you need that. And then you need to just, have those regular measurements along the way. So it's just whatever routine you want. It could be weekly, it could be quarterly, depending on how large and, how long-term this growth goal is. And you want to track it and share those results with everybody so they can see what what your team can see how well they're doing and how they're stacking up against where you should be. You want to set those manageable goals, like the milestones along the way for yourself and your team. So you can celebrate the little wins along the way. Again, make sure that you're flexible, adjust as necessary. I mean, you could set a goal that you want to double your revenue within, 12 months, but something like, I don't know, a pandemic might get in the way and you have to just change what you're doing. So adjust and, don't beat yourself up if you don't hit them. And then keep records of this because this will help for future planning and as well as showing proof of concept or success when talking to investors or potential buyers along the way. You just want to be able to say, hey, this is what we did. We grew from, $500,000 a year to $5 million in 2.5 years, and this is how we did it. It wasn't just luck. This is a well-oiled machine. And speaking of potential buyers, we're going to talk about exit strategies in the next session. So stay tuned for that.